Hey y'all, it's Stephanie. Welcome back to Yaya's Reading Nook, and welcome to a video I thought I would never film because it is a video about a fantasy series. Those of you that have been around me for a while, or around for a while, no, I'm not a fantasy reader, not a sci-fi reader really. I do read some books sometimes that have a little bit of sci-fi in them, but it's not like sci-fi heavy. And I really don't read fantasy because I don't care about world building. I don't care about dragons. I don't care about little fairies and stuff like that. I just don't care. Anyway, so I don't care about that kind of stuff, so I don't read it. But I'm working on a reading blog or a video for what my coworkers read. And my coworker DJ, he had just got through reading Iron Flame. I think that's the one he got through reading, and he said, you got to read it. And I'm like, oh God, no. He's like, it's really good. Listen to it. Because I knew I would listen to it because I'm not going to read I don't even know how many pages this is. Let me see. This book is 516, probably 520 pages. It's not really that long. I've read books longer. I just don't like fantasy. But I'll listen to it, and I'm so glad I did because it was a full cast. Everything they did, you could hear it. You could hear people running in the background. You could hear the wind blowing. When our poor main character, Violet Sorrengail, is going through basically, she's going off to war college, and she wanted to be a scribe because she's a tiny little girl. Not little girl, but she's tiny, little human, little adult. And it's like going to college, but you're going to college for war. So you're either going to be a rider, which is one who fights the battles on the dragons. See, there's a dragon. Or you're going to be a scribe or infantry. I don't think they get to ride dragons, but she has been put in the rider category to pass, and the first thing I have to pass is going across this thing called a parapet, and it's basically, from what I gather from listening to the book, like a balance beam that you walk across from one open spot to another open spot. If you fall off, you die. So she's also has a nemesis called Zayden Ryerson. His dad had led a revolution that didn't end very well. So his parents, along with a bunch of 104 other kids that lived in that colony called Beskaya, their parents led this rebellion, and their parents, the ones who lived, were put to death. And so Zayden doesn't like her mom because her mom is the general, and her mom's the one that had people put to death. So he's always annoying her. He's always antagonizing her. And her older sister comes to her after we open the book up, and her mom and her sister are just arguing back and forth. And her sister's like, she's too little to be a writer. It's not going to work out. She's not going to pass all these tests. I guess you want 2 dead kids, don't you? Well, her sister is a writer. Her brother was a writer. Her dad was a scribe. Her mom was a writer. So I guess we keep all but one in the family. And her brother was killed in war, and her father died. He got sick. Anyway, Violet was supposed to go into the scribe school, and she had been readying herself to go for 6 years, and it didn't happen. So she's like, okay, my mom wants me dead, I guess, so I'm going to make her unhappy. I'm going to pass all these tests. I'm going to become a writer, and I'm going to be the best writer she's ever seen. So that's basically what the first book was about. And her and Zayden actually become a little bit more than friends. Second book was Onyx Storm. Listen to it again. Oh, and all 3 of these books were at least 20 hours long, so there was a part 1 and a part 2. I can see where people did not like Onyx Storm, that it was written too hastily, that it didn't really have much of a story plot unless you were invested in Xaden and Violet's story. Because Xaden and Violet spend most of the time in this book doing things that little kids don't need to know about. They spend most of their time in bed or wherever. He takes her to where he used to live when his parents were alive. His dad was a duke, so he's like a duke. And they just fall in love, and but then they find out that Xaden is basically a venom, which the way they're described, the way I can imagine them is like these big worms going after people and killing people, but I don't really know. But he has venom in him, and so if they find out he's that, or a person that can see your thoughts, then they will kill him. So we're trying to not let that happen from the library. I was not going to buy them. But let me say, if you buy this and it's a big, thick book, you don't have to get rid of it if you didn't like it. Wrap it up somehow. Make it look like a brick, because it can be a doorstop, or it can be something used to hit someone over the head with if they break into your house. Just give you time enough to run away. Now the third one, Iron Flame, is where it really gets going, really gets good, because dragons mate for life. And she doesn't know that until the two dragons are off doing dragon things, and she can see it all, feel it all, basically, feel what's going on. And so she asks Xaden, she goes, do you ever feel this way? And he goes, oh yeah. They can't be away from each other for more than a couple of days. And I've had to learn to temper that down. You'll figure it out. So because dragons mate for life, Xaden and Violet are basically stuck together. If your dragon dies, you die. If you die, your dragon dies. But Violet doesn't have just one dragon. Violet has two. She has a little baby dragon. I think her name is Ariana. Not Ariana Grande. But yeah, she has a little baby dragon who goes to sleep, and when she wakes up, she's a teenage dragon. So she's got a little smart mouth. She's snarky. But this is where the big war comes in. Xaden's getting more and more ill, turning more and more into a venom. He's kind of given up. He's like, no, I'm going to die from this. When I turn, they're going to have to kill me, or I'm going to kill everybody. Promise me you'll kill me if I start to turn. And she's like, okay, I guess. But this, like some books. Now, I'm not a fantasy person, people. I was invested in this story, okay? I was totally invested in this story all the way through. I even liked the second book. But when this book ends, where Violet wakes up and she's got a ring on her hand, and she doesn't know where Xaden is. Okay, well, is there going to be a book 4 so we can find out what happened to Xaden? Even if it's like a 3.0 or 3.5. Even if it's only 5 hours, people. Rebecca Yarros, you did me wrong with this book. You left me on a cliffhanger. I did give them all, well, I gave the Fourth Wing and Iron Flame 4 and 4.5 and 4 respectively. I gave Onyx Storm a 3.75. I don't know what the average is. I'm not a math person. I'm not even going to try to do it with a calculator. But all that to say, maybe I'll listen to another fantasy book down the line. I don't know. But I won't listen to a 21-hour fantasy book. All 3 were at least 20 hours. Part 1 and Part 2. And I was invested so much that I would just drive around after work because I knew it was at a good spot. And I was almost telling them, I was like, I got to drive around. I can't. I just can't do without. And when I'm at home, I can't listen to books unless I'm totally alone because little people come in and interrupt me. So, yeah, they were good books. I really enjoyed them. And that's all I've got to say about them because, you know, what else can I say? They had dragons. They had mythical beings. They had a love story in there. They had death. They had resurrection. They had, you know, the venom. The good guys, the bad guys. And there was one guy. His name was Dane. He had been Violet's best friend forever. His dad was a jerk. I think you do. His dad was a first-class jerk, and he was trying to get Violet's mom's position. Did it happen? You read the book and find out. I think it happened in Onyx Storm. So, anyway, well, that's all I've got today. If this is your first time here, hope you enjoyed this and come back again. Maybe give me a thumbs up, everybody. Even those of you that are my subscribers, thumbs up. Those that aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and everybody hit that notification button. So when I upload a video, you will get it. This is Dewey. Dewey's my baby. He likes to go outside to the next door neighbor, and they have this big bush in front of their bird feeder. Big mistake. And he will sit under the bush and watch the birds. And he's caught a couple. And yes, he'll eat them. Our other cat will catch mice and eat them. But Dewey's the man. Anyway, you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.